This is one of the shows that desperately needs a second season because even though what we had was a pretty good run, at the end of the day we were left with more questions than answers. And as someone who has read this comic numerous times, believe me when I say that Season 1 was just a little warm-up. Things really start to get going in the story from this point on. But never fear, your chattering magpie is here to save the day and let you know which are the juicy chapters that you can look forward to answer pressing questions like, what will happen when Raeliana and Beatrice meet? When will she and Justin Shamal bump into each other again? And most importantly, when do we get Raeliana and Noah to admit their feelings for each other? You know, things that the anime didn't manage to fit. And this was obviously done by design. These 12 episodes were just an ad to get people to read the source material. I hope it works and that the anime-onlys go en masse to pick up the physical books or read the webcomic, because I really would love to see it come back and deal with so many interesting characters that it's set up but we never really got to fully explore. Starting with the stranger at the cemetery. We know him to be Vivian Shamal's brother, but despite him being related to such a volatile, proud and temperamental woman, he seems to be a really nice man. Raeliana acknowledges that there's some chemistry going on as they sit and drink together at the grave, and even says that, barring Noah, she hasn't met a more handsome individual in the story. Obviously, she omitted Grandpa from that list, but we forgive her because it would have made things a little awkward. But yeah, I agree. Justin Shamal is very pretty, and not only does he have the good looks, he offers her valuable advice. You know, the kind of sage words that can only come from random strangers on the street that for some reason we tend to pay more attention to. After drinking at the graveside, they part ways, and Justin remembers that he didn't even ask for her name, but shrugs it off, thinking it's very unlikely that the two of them will meet again. I love it when people say that because you know that that's not gonna happen, especially since he must play the love rival in the story, so the proper question is actually how and under what insane circumstances will these two meet again. Another character that we were introduced but barely got to know is King, or whatever his name is. I like that he is just looking out for Noah. He doesn't want his baby brother to be stuck in a contractual relationship. Noah is still reluctant about breaking off the engagement with Raeliana and says that there's something that Raeliana still has to do for him as his fiancé. Surely that something is her marrying him and becoming the Duchess so that she can be mistress of his mansion and the mother of his children, right? Right? Well, it's clear that Noah is smitten, so obviously the king wants to meet Raeliana. Now, was this just a passing thought or an actual thing that's gonna play out soon? Well, to answer that question, you need to read the next chapter, chapter 51, to find out. As to Noah, well, unfortunately, we didn't get a full confession, just a kiss. And one when she's passed out at that, which is cheating. That does not count, and I don't know why anime is so obsessed with the first kiss being one where one is passed out. I don't like it. Still, I want to make the best of it and say that I still thought the scene was well done. They even added some extra dialogue which wasn't in the original webcomic to flesh it out. And I especially love the final scene with them too, with Raeliana being all playful and happy that she's gotten over her cold and being like, sucks for you, you're sick, I'm healed, bye-bye, when she realizes that Noah is now the one that's sick. It's almost as if whatever progress they made the night before is basically totally cancelled out. But rest assured, there is progress soon enough. First of all, we have to understand that there's a lot going on with Noah's backstory that kind of ties into why he can't easily admit that he loves Raeliana. We were teased with a few glimpses of his past in a previous episode, but we got more on this one. Something obviously disturbing involving his mother happened when he was just a little kid. Noah tells Raeliana about it in chapter 61, and in chapter 102, he makes the link between this incident and why in episode 6 he told Raeliana that he would never ever love anyone. And a few chapters later, in 108, their relationship takes a step forward. It's a really good chapter, trust me. Then there's Beatrice. We have absolutely no idea what her endgame is. Kill Raeliana? Okay, but why? Why do that to a friend? Surely it's not just because she doesn't get the guy, right? And if Beatrice is angry that Raeliana ended up with Noah instead of her, does that mean that she also knows about the story in the way that Raeliana does? So many questions. And unfortunately, the chapters where she comes up and we get more glimpses into what's going on in her head are all spread out. It really sucks. So I can't give you a specific chapter. You're just gonna have to read it. But I can tell you that they come face to face at last, all the way in chapter 114. So that's another season's worth of content that you have to get through before the two of them will actually come face to face and confront one another. As to Vivian Shamal, I never could quite hate her. And yeah, reading later on, we learn how she got wrapped up with Beatrice. And you'll be happy to know that Vivian never meant to kill Raeliana when she gave her the crystallized gem. I mostly worry about her. And we can only wonder how Beatrice will further manipulate this poor woman. Finally, there's Grandpa. All I can say is that every time he comes in the story, it will be fun and hilarious. He'll also come in to save the day repeatedly. So much so that I am incredibly happy that Raeliana has him on her side to do holy magic things because the story gets quite wild later on. For this final episode, we had no skipped content at all. Compared to the last episode that had to cover more than 5 chapters, this one covered about 3 chapters worth of content, so it was far from rushed. Now, overall thoughts about the series. I honestly think that there were some things that the anime did really well that improve upon the webcomic. In spite of its oftentimes choppy animation, it was still gorgeous. The backgrounds were rich with color and wonderfully drawn. It had its own style, and it looks 100 times better than the manhwa, which tended to be focused more on the characters and their expressions rather than on the background art. The backgrounds and all that stuff was really an afterthought. And the eyes, even though the anime relied a lot on extreme close-ups, I loved looking into Raeliana's or Noah's beautiful eyes, how they were so dramatically lit. They were like jewels. It made moments like these when the two of them are together so much more lovely. Though, let it be known that the one thing I missed was the chibi drawings and all the extra little fun jokes and quips that were cut out from the manhwa. So at the end of the day, people who enjoy the anime really need to go back and read the manhwa from the beginning so that they can pick up all these extra little tidbits. Next, Noah. I can't begin to express just how much the voiceover acting did to make him come alive. Raeliana definitely is the star of the webcomic, and I often felt that, yeah, Noah is the ideal romantic hero, I guess, but to me he felt too, remote, cool, too perfect. I'm not sure. I think the anime made him come alive because my oh my, did he win me over. Yes, both in the sub and dub versions, the work was absolutely stellar. Overall, even though we got left with a very open ending, I think this is a very good jumping off point for going to read the manhwa. If you never have read one before, this is an excellent way to dip your toe into this wonderful world of Korean webcomics. You won't regret it. After all, it has a great story and, best of all, it is completed, so you don't have to wait around for the next chapter to update. It's totally done. I am hoping for a season 2 and 3 to cover all 158 chapters, so fingers crossed that we get that announcement one day. I really enjoyed covering this season with you, and I hope that you did as well. Let me know your thoughts about this anime, what you like most about it, and if you haven't read it, where do you think the story is heading? What are some of your theories about Raeliana and Beatrice? Webcomic readers, absolutely no spoilers in the comments. That is all from me now. Until the next time we meet, bye bye.